So, after the universe ending fire and fury of Ragnarok, what happens next? Today, we're diving into a modern parable, one that rises from the ashes of the Old Norse world, and we're going to focus on the ultimate symbol of its rebirth, the Bifrost Bridge. Let's journey together into this incredible story of cosmic reconstruction. See, this isn't just about rebuilding a bridge. It's about healing an entire universe. It's about forging a whole new philosophy from the wreckage of the old one. This is the story of how the cosmos found its way back to wholeness, built on a brand new foundation of light and hope. Okay, so to really get why the new Bifrost is such a huge deal, we first have to understand the sheer devastation it was born from. We're starting in a cosmos that was just broken, disconnected, silent, because its only connection between worlds had completely fallen. Think of the original bridge as this massive fortress wall in the sky, a shimmering rainbow meant to keep invaders out of Asgard. But in that final, cataclysmic battle, it just couldn't hold. It was shattered under the weight of Surtr's fire giants, and that really symbolized the total collapse of the entire old divine order. And this, right here, is where we see the fundamental shift. The old Bifrost was an object of war. It was beautiful, sure, but it was a fragile defense. The new Bifrost is something else entirely. It's forged from pure spiritual light. It's not a wall, it's a conduit. It's not defensive, it's connective. This isn't just a repair job, this is a total reimagining of what a bridge between worlds can even be. So, how in the world do you build an unbreakable bridge of light? As we get into our second act, you'll see it wasn't a solo project. No way. This new creation required this unprecedented collaboration, and it was led by the resurrected god of light himself, Baldur. And this wasn't just some construction project. It was really the birth of a new political and spiritual reality. The survivors of Ragnarok, gods, elves, everyone, they realized that the old ways of division and conflict, well, they just led to ruin. The bridge became their first and their greatest act of unified purpose. They even called it inter-realm engineering. This brilliant alliance really had two key parts. First, you have the Dark Elves, the absolute masters of the earth and all its secrets. They used their powerful alchemy to anchor the bridge's foundations. Then the Light Elves, the spirits of the sky, came in and infused that whole structure with pure, luminous solar energy. It was this perfect marriage of the powers of soil and sun. So what was this bridge actually made of? Well, its core component is unbreakable spiritual light, which is more of a concept than a substance, right? The Dark Elves also wove in the same kind of paradoxical, reality-bending materials that once bound the great wolf Fenrir. Things like the sound of a cat's footfall and the breath of a fish. This made sure the new bridge could withstand literally any force, physical or magical. And then, the Light Elves bathed it all in that infused solar energy, giving it its constant guiding glow. Okay, the materials were incredible for sure. But the most profound change wasn't what the bridge was made of, but who it was made for. And this is where the story pivots from cosmic engineering to a full-blown revolution in divine philosophy. And you can see the stark contrast right here. The old bridge was jealously guarded by Heimdall. It was literally on fire to keep mortals from crossing. It was a symbol of separation. The new Bifrost, the fire is gone. The guard is gone. It's now open to the virtuous descendants of humanity. The very idea of a barrier between the divine and the mortal was deliberately taken apart. I mean, this is a huge policy shift, right? A complete reversal of divine protocol. So the natural question is, what was the goal? What did this new age of celestial accessibility actually accomplish? The answer is transparency. This open path allowed the survivors of humanity, Leif and Leifthryssir, to literally walk up to the halls of the gods and seek direct counsel. The relationship was no longer about distant, fearsome deities and trembling mortals. It became a continuous dialogue, a pilgrimage. The bridge made the gods accountable, and it made wisdom accessible to everyone. Now, this new connection didn't just transform the relationship between gods and mortals, it fundamentally reshaped the entire structure of the newly reborn universe. The bridge's light became the new organizing principle of the cosmos. The 9 worlds weren't just loosely connected realms anymore. Their very boundaries were now defined by the reach of the Bifrost's prismatic rays. Wherever its light touched, the new laws and vitality of the reborn world took hold, extending the influence of Asgard and the elves to the farthest corners of reality. There's a really powerful metaphor that describes this perfectly. The new Bifrost acts as the circulatory system for the cosmos. It doesn't just sit there. It actively pumps the blood of magic, law, and order through the veins of the universe, making sure every single realm is nourished and connected to the heart of creation. To put it another way, the bridge is the literal connective tissue holding everything together. Without it, the nine worlds would just drift apart, back into the chaos that came before creation. It is the single most important piece of infrastructure in the new cosmos, ensuring stability for all time. You know, as with all great myths, the story of the Bifrost doesn't just exist on some huge cosmic scale. It also speaks to something deeply personal, connecting this epic tale to the journey of the human soul. A lot of modern scholars and people who follow neo-pagan traditions, these are contemporary spiritual paths inspired by pre-Christian beliefs. They see a powerful metaphor here. Just as the cosmos was shattered and rebuilt, they see the bridge as a symbol for healing personal trauma and restoring one's own spiritual integrity. The journey across the Bifrost becomes an internal one. And this path has a name, Asbru, or the Bridge of the Gods. It's an invitation, not a barrier. It calls out to those who are pure of heart, promising a journey not just to the realm of the gods, but in the company of the elven spirits who helped forge the path in the first place. So, when you boil it all down, what are the key takeaways from this powerful symbol? Well, first, it signifies that the trauma of the past can be healed. Second, it represents the ultimate triumph of creative, collaborative acts over destructive, chaotic ones. And finally, it stands as a permanent promise that the rainbow of hope, once shattered by war, will never be broken again. Ultimately, the reborn Bifrost is so much more than a bridge. It's a living monument, a path of light connecting the ancient past to a vibrant future. To travel across it, whether you're doing it in myth or in spirit, is to journey directly into the immortal, beating heart of the Norse imagination. And that leaves us with one last thought. The old bridge was close to mortals, but the new one is open to the virtuous. So, if this bridge truly is a metaphor for a path to enlightenment, a path we can all walk, what does that journey require of us? What does it mean to be pure of heart enough to make that crossing? That's definitely something to think about.